I'm Danny Van Haute, the director of the Jelly Belly presented by Kenda cycling team.
And thanks for your time.
Welcome.
Taking an interview with SoCalCycling.com. And how long has Jelly Belly been around sponsoring?
Our team has been around 14th season now. Longest running title sponsorship in the U.S. We're happy to have Jelly Belly aboard again for this year. So 14 years is a long time.
Yeah, it seems like they're pretty happy, and
we're happy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, you're always happy to have a title sponsor for 14 years.
Yeah, that's
so
a long
time for any title sponsor to be in any sport, and so they're happy with us, and we do a lot for them, and they do a lot for us.
Right, and having stability in this sport, in this climate,
the economy, and our sport, we're going through some bad times, but we just don't think about that, and we move on.
Right.
We have to win bike races.
And the business aspect of things as well.
Yeah, of course.
Good business decision, but. And then, what does Jelly Belly get out of by sponsoring a cycling team?
Well, just like any other, I think, company, the cycling world has a lot of, well, first of all, we do over 100 races. And so we're giving out beans to millions and millions of people. Last year we raced in front of, with our international schedule, we raced in front of 4.5 million people. So giving out beans to a lot of people at the races, on TV, they must sell a lot of product to keep the cycling program going. So I think they get a lot out of it, having us around.
So yeah, all that sampling is definitely paying off.
Sampling, opening up Jelly Belly stores, doing talks at schools, doing a lot of activities that a professional cycling team should do.
Excellent, excellent. And what are some of the goals for this team this year?
The biggest goal is, our team has always been racing internationally, I would say, and we're going to continue that, but a little bit more emphasis on the U.S. side of it. And so now that the NRC program, our national racing calendar, is only 5 races, and so we're going to follow that to the T, and so hopefully be the #1 ranked team in the country.
Awesome, awesome. And then, us being former teammates in the past and being around for a long time, what have you seen in the sport, change over the years?
It's definitely gotten bigger. 10, mostly 15 years ago, cycling was low on the totem pole. It was there with tennis and golf, and cycling was pretty low on the totem pole 20 years ago, and so now all those 3 sports that I just mentioned are rising to the occasion. Cycling is still a little bit below golf and tennis, but we're getting there, and we just love the sport. We both are still in it, and so I think it's a healthy sport, of course, and it's going places.
Great. And are you guys going to try to get into the Tour of California, the U.S. Pro Cycling Challenge, Tour of Utah? Are those some of the main goals?
Those races that you just mentioned are the Super Bowl races in the U.S. for cycling. So of course, a team like Jelly Belly that's based in Northern California, and then the team is based here in Southern California. We would love to be in the Tour of California Engine and the U.S. Pro Cycling Challenge and Tour of Utah. So we'll do our best, and that's where the NRC comes in, our national racing calendar. We have to be ranked in the top 3, I would say, to get an invite to these races. And once we do, we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready for those races to do our job.
Right, and how difficult is it politically, to get into those races?
Every continental team in the U.S. is vying for those positions. It's a wild card position, and so we as a team have to do our part, and that's results. Activation at the races, that comes to Jelly Belly and all our other sponsors. If they want to do some activations at that races, that just helps all of us. So it's up to the guys right now. I can't race for the guys. The guys are going to have to race and win some bigger races. And I mean, we always win races. There's, you know, we average 20 races a year, but some of those races are not at the top level, and so we have to start. This team here, Jelly Belly presented by Kenda, has to start winning some bigger races at Redlands Bicycle Classic, at Joe Martin Tour de the Gila, things like that. We have to win those races.
Yeah, set of presidents.
To have a president. Yeah.
And as far as you know, the current scene in cycling right now. I mean,
sure.
You know, with the scheduling, you know, less stage races, more crits. You know, how's that affect your guys' schedule for the year?
Actually, with the new NRC program, you know, they're splitting it up. Major one-day races and stage races are one portion of it, and then they have the criterium and national racing calendar. We're going to follow the big stage race schedule, and there's 5 of them. The criterium NRC program we're not going to follow too much because I'm preparing for the Amgen Tour of California. So how do I prepare our guys to race that race? It's not by criteriums. I'm not going to do 5 or 10 criteriums before the Amgen Tour of California when they're only hour races. I'm going to do Redlands Bicycle Classic, Joe Martin, Gila, which are 100 to 120 mile days every day, and that will prepare our guys better for US Pro Cycling Challenge and Amgen Tour of California. So the scheduling is good. USA Cycling is doing a great job with everything and scheduling all these big races, and we're going to continue to follow those races.
And it seems like you've kind of put a pretty well-rounded team together this year. Is there anybody that we could be looking at that's going to stand out on the team?
I think there's a couple of guys that need for themselves and for the team the breakout years, and I think Luis Lemus, our Mexican national champion, he's a 21-year-old, turning 21 this year. I think you'll see great things about him. And then our Canadian guy, Nick Hamilton, he's been developing into a great professional rider, and I think it's time for him to move on also to a pro tour team, and you'll see big things out of him. And you're always going to see good things about Brad Huff and Jeremy Powers.
Right, right. Well, that's good. And then, you know, working with Focus this year, you know, are you guys going to be using new products? You do a lot of testing for those guys, you know, in product development. I was in on, you know, the media aspect of things, and you know, the company's based out of Germany. Is it pretty easy working with you know, them out of the U.S.?
Yep, it's very easy. The Focus USA's headquarters is only 5 minutes away from the team's headquarters, so we have lunch almost every 2 weeks together, and so we discuss the teams, we discuss product, we discuss everything at these lunch meetings, and so it's a great relationship to have someone like that so close. And so we kind of know what the development of the bikes, what bikes we're riding next year. We kind of know already in July of the previous year, so it's nice to have them close by.
Excellent. That's good. And then as far as the current climate, you know, in cycling, you know, with, you know, USADA, Lance, all this stuff. What's your opinion, you know, being around so long?
You know, I think we have to move forward now, and I think that's the opinion about everybody. That the things that we're hearing now happened, you know, 10, 13 years ago. Things now, the systems that are in place now are much, much better. I don't think the situation that we're hearing now would happen ever again. You know, it's just not going to happen, and we just don't think about that anymore. I mean, yes, is it in the limelight? Yes, but is it going away? Sure. I mean, our season's about to begin. We're not thinking about that. We're thinking about the future, and that's where this team is going. We're a clean team, and we're not worried about what's happening right now. We're worried about our own system.
Excellent. Cool. Well, you know, thanks for taking the interview with SoCalCycling.com.